Hello, good evening. You're all welcome to the Public Service HR Mentorship Series, the first edition in the month of November 2025. You're welcome. It's my pleasure to welcome you here. It gladdens my heart to see all of us here this evening to learn. And I want to assure you that we will surely learn, and we will learn effectively this evening. I want to assure you that you're not going to waste your time. Your time will not go in vain. You see value for your time. You also see value for your data. So you are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome to the Public Service HR Mentorship Series, where we learn and where we shape HR. And once HR is shaped, be rest assured that we use this platform to develop ourselves. We use this platform to develop ourselves. Okay, so we develop ourselves irrespective of our cadre, irrespective of the job we do in the public service. This platform is to help us to get our job done professionally. We also try as much as possible to gather knowledge here. We also make sure we become strategic and then be impactful on our roles. And don't forget that if we do all of these things, we will surely make sure, structuring the civil service, making the civil service to be efficient, and definitely it will make positive impact on the quality of service that we will be delivering in the public service. So once again, I want to say you are welcome to this evening mentorship series. Is my joy that what we hoping to achieve on this platform, we will definitely achieve it. You know, it's a long journey we have embarked upon, and we will surely get to the end positively. So, but what we do on this platform is for me to just quickly give my opening charge. Opening charge. So, I want to say this. They just concluded CIPM International Conference. Somebody came and that person wowed my mind, blew my mind, and I said it's better for me to also share that opportunity here on this platform. Please don't forget that you can also join through the live stream on our YouTube channel. You can join the live stream that is going on our YouTube channel. So Professor Yemi Oshibajo came and he said something. Of all that he said, one of the takeaways that I took away from that conference is that he said something, and that thing struck my mind. He said, HR must ensure the reskilling and digital literacy of workforce because the skill sets required for the modern workplace, please note it, modern workplace are changing faster than ever before. So this simply means that HR or wherever we have found ourselves, be it engineer, be it planner, be it procurement officer, we want to remain relevant. So HR or whoever that is on this platform that want to remain relevant now and thereafter must embrace continuous learning. Continuous learning is the only way out for us to catch up with this changing nature of workplace that is revolutionizing now. So we need to embrace continuous learning. And how do we go about this thing? Number one, we need to develop a personal learning plan, which is called PLP, personal learning plan, PLP. That is, you are asking yourself, what courses, what course, what learning do I need to engage in? For instance, I know the courses that I would like to embark on in the first quarter next year. That is my own personal learning plan. That's my own personal learning plan. Number two, commit to live learning culture. Live learning culture. Look for a book that you read, maybe on monthly basis or quarterly basis. Look for somebody to mentor you. You cannot do this job alone. We need to get professional that can help us to part this journey as we embark on it. Number three, embrace digital learning platforms. There are so many learning platforms that we can join. Yesterday, I joined one, and what I've taken away from that platform remains mine. Nobody can take it away from me. Probably I'll find time to also share it on this platform, or even bring the person that I join his platform. Maybe I'll bring him on this platform. So we need to embrace digital learning platforms, engage in it, so that we will not just be dead woods where we have found ourselves. We should also now join professional and peer networks. We should learn through experience and also look for mentor, like I said. And the final one there is to be tech savvy, be digitally confident, adaptable, and smart with technology. Okay? So many things are going on now. So many things are going on, and then we want us to be tech savvy. Okay? How do we set up Google Meet? How do we set up Zoom meeting? How do we use Zoom to write minute of meeting? How do we use technology here and there? These are the things that are going on now. Even how do you become a data analyst? These are the things that are going on now that we must expose ourselves to make sure we are relevant now and thereafter. So I want us to ponder on this, ponder on it, and see where you can adjust your lifestyle to suit this continuous learning we are talking about. On that note, I want to draw the curtain on my opening chat for today, while I quickly seize the opportunity to introduce our facilitator today. Our facilitator today is Mr. Rojimi Olufemi Abiodun. Mr. Orojimi Olufemi Abiodun. Mr. Abiodun began his civil service career in year 2000 as a statistician 1, and has over the years rolled through the rank. In November 2024, he was appointed the substantive director, budget department at the Lagos State Ministry of Economy Planning and Budget. As director, budget, his responsibilities include but not limited to overseeing budget preparation and coordination within the Ministry of Economy Planning and Budget for Lagos State. He also engages with stakeholders on strategic budgeting matters. For example, he represented the ministry at the event with UNICEF concerning child-focused budgeting in Lagos State. Mr. Orojimi is a fellow, Chartered Institute of Project Managers of Nigeria, member, Chartered Institute of Statisticians of Nigeria, member, Nigerian Economic Society. His professional certifications include Public Financial Management, IMF, and Macroeconomic Diagnostic Tools, IMF also. Please join me as I welcome Mr. Orojimi while I hand over the platform to Olaitan. Olaitan, please take over from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Good evening. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, our director, Mr. Orojimi Olufemi. You're welcome to the Public Service Mentorship Series.
Good evening, my dear sister.
We are so honored to have you here, sir. Do you want to share your slide, or you want me to share from my end?
Let me share.
Okay, sir. So you have the permission to do that. Doctor, please, can you remove the slides? Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening once again. We're so happy to have everyone here. I acknowledge our directors on the call. I also acknowledge our permanent secretaries on the call and my senior colleagues. Please, I am going to drop the attendance and the link to the YouTube. Yeah, I'm sharing it again. Thank you, Mr. Opeyemi. I'm going to share it again right now. So, sir, you have the floor, so you can proceed, sir. Sir, we can see your slides, so you can proceed. Please, if you have not filled the attendance, I'm dropping it again. Kindly fill the attendance. It's very important to fill the attendance. Thank you so much.
Check the person who is trying to draw on the slides.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let me see if I have. Okay, you can.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, you can go on. So I would.
Are you the one that will be controlling, or I have the right to control from my end?
You have the right to. You have the right to control. You have the right to
It's
control.
it's not moving. Okay.
No, it is. It is from here.
That's
or
fine.
If you want me to share, it's fine too.
No. Let me share it. It's
okay,
good.
sir.
It's okay because of time.
All right, sir. Okay, sir.
Good evening, everyone. The topic given to me to be presented is budget cycle, which I believe is what every one of us are familiar with. So on that note, the question we need to ask ourselves is, what is budget? Before we move to budgeting, the issue of description nomenclature is what normally deceives people, but at the same time, we need to understand it. Budget is day-to-day activities we always do in our home, in our office, but you can't tell. No need of cramming is what you normally do. Budget is referred to the financial plan of entity. What is the meaning of financial plan of entity? That is, you need to start planning, you set the goals, you allocate resources over a period, usually a year, or on medium-term basis or long-term basis. So when you are at home, you need to plan for what you are going to do in the following year by saying, let me start planning. Let me set goal for myself. I want to build house next year. I want to buy this next year. Then you now get the prices, you allocate resources to all those things you intend to do. So you can also define it as a statement of government estimated receipt and expenditure for a particular period. We say normally a year for an annual budget and 3 years for a medium-term budget. So Alexander Hamilton also defined a budget. He also let us know that budget is much more than collection of numbers. It reflects nation priorities, the nation's needs and promises. What is the meaning of that? People will say, okay, the size of budget. No. If you plan well, it's going to reflect. It's going to reflect because you have already investigated the people's needs and your promise to put in place series of things. So by the time you do that, you will now see that the people's priorities have been met. That is what Alexander Hamilton is trying to tell us. Why do we budget? We budget to promote economic growth and development. We also budget to achieve healthy balance of payments, mobilize and allocate resources, to achieve equitable redistribution of income. We chose to reduce poverty alleviation or to eradicate poverty as well. We also do that for many reasons, just to back up our ambition. We also have types of budgets. As an individual, you can become a commissioner, governor, president, and you don't want to, you want to just look at how we want to do it. You just say, let me start from zero-based budget. Starting from zero base doesn't mean that you need to jettison or throw away what your predecessor has already done. Somebody is raising hand. Can Bello Simiat Bolanle, do you want to ask question?
Sir, don't worry, you can go ahead. We would ask questions at the end of the
Okay,
class.
but I can see that so that person is just raising hands.
No, the person would have to wait.
Okay. Tell the
Yes,
person to write through the chat box.
Through the chat box. Okay,
Yeah.
sir. All right, sir.
So zero-based budget is a form of budget we start from ground zero. Not that you jettison or throw away what predecessor has already done, but you want to feel, you want them to start, you want to know everything that, okay, let us start from foundation, bring on board everything, just budget from ground zero. So that is zero-based budget for you. From there, you'll be able to now link it with the previous year's budget. We also have program-based budget. That one is based on the program. We also have project-based budget, incremental budget, the multi-year budget system. Everything we mentioned above can be used in a multi-year budget system, because in multi-year budget system, where we get there, I will explain better, that is where you will match, link policies of government with the budget, link economic outlook with the budget. So incremental, project-based, program-based also play a major role when it comes to that. Now, this is typical mathematical calculations when it comes to budgeting, the budget itself. We have IGR, the revenue generated internally in the state. Who are the people that generate this revenue? We have Lagos State Internal Revenue Generating, Internal Revenue Services. We have, that is the major revenue entity in the state. We also have other major revenue MDAs in the state. We also, in our budget in the state, we have federal transfers. What do we mean by federal transfers? Those are the fund from the federal government. We have statutory VAT. We have others. How do we get the total revenue? We also have capital receipts. We also have financing. Somebody will say, we always get loan. Not all budgets is being financed by loans, because if your budget is balanced, no need, the financing will be zero, deficit will be zero. But to understand the calculation, for us to get that, you had the total revenue will be IGR, which is internally generated revenue, plus federal transfer, plus capital receipts, and financing. People will say, what is financing? Financing is when you have deficit in your budget. By the time you remove total revenue from capital expenditure, if it is negative, that means your revenue is less than your plan. That is it. So at that point in time, the only thing you can do is for you to go and borrow, is for us to go and obtain either foreign loan or domestic loan or bond, everything. That is what we call financing. We also look at personnel costs. We look at overhead costs. What is recurrent expenditure? Personnel costs plus overhead costs. Total overhead cost will give us recurrent expenditure. What are the components of overhead costs? We have a series of things. That is our operational costs and other maintenance, everything. Then personnel costs, you know, our wages, that is salary. When you add the two together, you get it as what? Recurrent expenditure. Then what do we call capital? Capital expenditure is the money you always allocated to carry out the capital projects. Example, the roads, the building of roads, building of bridges, the drainages, as well as other capital items. Then what is budget size? Budget size has two ways. You have it from revenue side. When you say budget size, from revenue side, you have IGR plus federal transfer plus capital receipt and financing. If you add everything together, it's going to be equal to your capital expenditure. Why? Because you have already factored your financing. If you have balanced budget, your financing will be zero. If you don't have balanced budget, the amount you are going to use to balance your budget will be under the financing. So now, that is budget for you. From that, it indicates that we've already learned something about what budget is all about. Types of budget, the definition of budget, types of budget, then the calculation, that is understanding the deficit, surplus, and balanced budget from that calculation. Now, when somebody now says budgeting, budgeting is all about the cycle. You can call it budgeting, you can call it budget cycle, it's the same. So whenever someone is saying budgeting, budgeting is about cycle. So we look at budget as a legal framework. You have to understand that budget is a legal framework. After you have already done the needful, it's a legal framework whereby nobody, by the time it is signed into law by the governor, by the president, you cannot change anything in the budget. So let's start from fiscal framework. What is fiscal framework we are talking about? It's about strategic planning. It's about planning. It's about planning. Hello? It's about planning. When you say planning, we look at our development plan. By the time we want to start budget of a particular year, then we look at our strategic plan. Those are the things we need to take into consideration. Let me touch that particular area briefly. By the time we start planning, we look at our Lagos State development plan. It has been reviewed. It's a 30-year strategic plan from 2022 to 2052. The reason is just to transform Lagos into African model, mega city, and global economic hub. And this particular development plan is built on 4 strategic pillars, which we need to understand. Because we don't have time, somebody will come and present that to you. But the essence of this is that we need to understand that budget is not about adding numbers together. We have to take into considerations the development plan, the long-term development of Lagos State. That is, by 2052, this is where we want Lagos State to be. This is how do we move? We move through planning, through strategic plan, and it is based on these 4 pillars. The first pillar is a thriving economy. The second one is human-centric, and third one, modern infrastructure and effective governance. What do you mean by thriving economy? This is fostering economic growth and making Lagos the leading economy in Africa. So I don't want us to waste time. There are implementation and goals. Everything we normally look by the time we start our budget cycle. We take into consideration all these goals. Then we look at the strategic alignment with team's agenda. By the time we look at the strategic alignment with team's agenda, we now use the medium-term expenditure framework. What are the components of this medium-term expenditure framework? That is MTEF. We look at MTSS. Everything work hand in hand. That's why I said multi-year budgeting system always play major role. It adds everything concerning types of budget. It depends on anything you want to make use there. Now, by the time we do that, we now look at how we are going to project. We project, checking the economic outlook of that particular year. Our own budget in Lagos State, we base it on medium-term basis. What do I mean by medium-term basis? Medium-term in the sense that it's 3 years projections. By the time we factor in economic outlook, both world outlook, national outlook, then our budget is not just prepared by adding numbers together. So by the time we look at that, we aggregate based on available resources. By the time we aggregate, we look at the revenue. This is revenue we are looking at. We project our revenue. We call the stakeholders meetings. We want to be realistic. Then secondly, we now move to expenditure. We project based on the previous years, historical information. By saying 6 years, we want to look at how our budget has performed. Now, projecting for another 3 years, this is where we want to be. We factor so many things. So by the time we complete the planning work, we will now move to budget preparation itself. How do we move to budget preparation? At that planning stage, we have total budget aggregate showing total revenue as well as total expenditure. Before we do that, we have to take our medium-term expenditure framework in line with our reporting format, which is COFOG. We have to now, take it to the ESCO for their approval. They need to look at the percentage we are going to allocate for infrastructure, for education, for administrative work, to health. So you can see that budget is not done in silos. One person cannot prepare budget of a state. There is always stakeholders consultation. At that point in time, for transparency and accountability, we need to go as far as engaging the citizens. Yes, engaging the citizens just to know what citizens want, how we are going to factor their own needs into the budget. You can see that Hamilton was right then. We need to factor their needs into our budget. That one will improve our transparency and is going to ensure that people we hold us accountable for everything we are doing. So after that, we will now disaggregate as approved by ESCO in absolute terms along this COFOG. What I mean by COFOG is classification of function of government, which is our reporting format. By the time we do that, we go to the number 2, budget preparation. That is when we will now say, okay, ESCO appoint the ESCO champion and say, oh yeah, let's look at how we are going to distribute to the MDAs within us based on the percentage agreed by the ESCO. Government will say, okay, in line with TIM's agenda, this year, my priority will be based on infrastructure. This year, my priority will be based on, so it depends on that. We just allocate the percentage in line with the priority. So by the time we move to B is when we now say, okay, let's issue the cost circular based on the agreed figure, which we call ceiling. Some people will call it envelope. Whenever you hear ceiling, it's the same thing with envelope. Our cost circular, we just give you the policy direction of government within that period. We just show us the strategic plan of government at that point in time. Then the appraiser, the quarterly appraiser of that current year's budget, as well as other information you needed, so that it's going to assist you in planning your budget and in preparation of a particular agency's budget. So by the time you complete that, you move to the next stage. What is the next stage we are talking about? We are talking about engaging, come for a bilateral meeting. You submit your budget, then the next day is you have to engage the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. If there is any need for us, for MEPB to add to the envelope given to you, fine. That is the avenue for us to defend our budget. So we call it budget defense. Some people will call it budget engagement. It depends. So by the time we complete that, we will now move to the next stage, which is this thing is not moving. So, okay.
It's actually moving.
It's moving, sir. Maybe the network. Yeah.
It's the network.
Yeah, it's the network.
So everything I'm trying to explain here. The very first one, which is the framework. This is the one that we explained the framework to us. I'm still coming back to that. So you can see that cycle I displayed. I would like us to look at it. The very first stage is budget framework. At that level, we look at development plan, we look at fiscal plan, we look at sector strategy, then annual budget. Now, the second stage, you can see the medium terms. The second stage is budget preparation. I will be moving from that place so that you will understand what I mean. So the fiscal framework shows us this. This is the planning and budgeting framework, which complement the budget system law. It's also set guides and rules to support fiscal discipline, transparency, and accountability. That was why I have to explain certain things to you before I come to this. Now, you can see that development plan is a long term, as I explained earlier on. It's going to cascade down to the fiscal plan, which is MTFF and MTBF. What is MTFF? MTFF will set multi-year fiscal target. That is, at that level, we look at our revenue, our resources. How do we look at our resources? We hold a meeting with them. We look at the global effect of our budget. We factor everything during that MTFF. Economic outlook play major role. We look at our GDP, the inflation. Those are the things we look by the time we now set multi-year budget framework in place. By the time we finish with that, we now project our expenditure. How do we project our expenditure? We look at the prices of goods. We look at so many things that needs to be looking at. That will set balls rolling. Then MTBF, at that point in time, it is when we now disaggregated the figure we get from MTFF down to the MDAs. By the time you complete that, MTSS now play a major role. What is MTSS? MTSS is the medium-term sector strategy. Everything concerning your programs, that is capital and recurrent, you have to put them in our MTSS document. Because by the time we want to pick, by the time you engage Minister of Economic Planning and Budget, that is the document that is being agreed and signed by the accounting officer and other stakeholders, that this is the budget that is going to drive our budget. This is the budget or the document that comprise of our projects, either outstanding liability or contractor finance, all the projects, you put it in your document so that you will not lose anything by the time you want to implement that project. That is the essence of all these things. They are very, very useful. That's why we call them planning tools. By then, you move to the next stage, which is budget preparation and approval. I will show you. This is the stage of budget preparation and approval. So what are the components? What are the things in this budget preparation and approval? Yes. By the time the envelope is being shared among the agencies, among the MDAs, here come the budget cost circular. After the cost circular, budget during the engagement, during the bilateral meeting, you are going to review it. You are going to reconcile. We are going to do so many things. At the approval level, what happened? This is what we call process. You can see it. At the approval level, that is when the budget is taken to State Treasury Board. State Treasury Board. This is it, State Treasury Board. After the consideration of State Treasury Board, we take it to ESCO. After the ESCO, then after the deliberation and maybe consideration, the budget will now sent to House of Assembly as a bill. It has turned to bill. By the time it turned to bill, The House committee will look at it, they review it, they themselves, they will approve it again based on the agreements among them. By then, budget is still a bill. It's still called appropriation bill. The reason being that it has not been assented to by the governor. So at that point in time, that one is just the end of this budget preparation here. By the time budget is being approved and signed into law by Mr. Governor, what is the next stage? You can see the importance of this cycle. The next stage is we need to start spending. To start spending, it has its own process as well. The next thing you need to look for is, we call it budget execution. And at that point in time, the budget execution commences after issuance of warrants. So by the time warrant is being issued, what happened? MDAs execute through personnel costs, overhead costs, and capital. Once the budget is approved by legislature and as budget execution is the next stage, when financial resources are made available to and used by the executive towards achieving the purpose and objective. Who issued this? What happened? The Commissioner for Finance issued general and development warrants to commence spending. Authority to line ministries and agencies to implement their respective programs, projects as included in the approved budget. Once the budget has been approved, you cannot change it. You can't go back and say, hey, I did not put this. That is the essence of the document called MTSS for you. That is everything, though the resources may be limited, but everything you want to carry out, the project you want to implement, the program you want to implement in the following year must be in your MTSS document. So by the time they commence this is what normally happens. What are the tools we use during the budget execution? We use some tools to control during the budget execution. And you might have heard so many things. We have financial management information system in the state. What is the essence? We call it Oracle. Yes, it's Oracle, because the name is Financial Management Information System. That is the system for you. But the name of the vendor is Oracle. So it's a database. What do we use? Why do we use it to control? Because it maintains approved budget, it tracks budget execution steps, generates payment instructions, maintain accounts, enables some automatic control. That is the essence of that. We also have internal audits. Why do we have internal audit as well as external audit? In our cycle, you will see the role played by external audits, which is quite different from internal audit. Now, internal audit evaluates internal control and risk management framework. How? They ensure that they put everything in place. They look at the advices just to improve the organization operations. And they look at how to ensure that they mitigate the risk. The risk, they envisage that this is what, they always envisage that this is how to achieve this. Because that particular thing can go outside your MDA and not see the light of the day. But by the time they manage it effectively at least accounting officer too, they will advise the accounting officer that this thing cannot go because the financial regulation stipulates that if they don't do it right, it cannot go beyond this. So that is the essence of internal audit. So you can see that there are a lot of players when it comes to budget cycle. Now, we also have budgets monthly and quarterly budget appraiser, as well as monitoring. We monitor budgets based on rendition of monthly returns to our officer. Why? Because we look at the way their performance will be and ensure that a particular thing they ask you to use the money for is what you use it for. That is the essence of that monitoring. Then we also look at procurement. We also look at the procurement. Procurement ensure that you have to follow the due process. If you don't follow the due process, so many things will be wrong. You can see that we have ways. And also, we also have our chart of accounts. Yes, what do we use? Why do we use chart of accounts? It's an essential of a government accounting and essential tools of a government accounting and reporting system. It serves as a what? Tool to meet its business requirement. Why? Because without code, you will not be able to identify most of budget economic line. Without code, you will not be able to identify where that economic line is going to be implemented. What do I mean by economic line? The line can be for capital, it can be for recurrent. Example, under our Lagos State Chart of Accounts, we have 7 segments. The 7 segments we are talking about, the very first 2 show that it's either revenue or expenditure. And we have 2 types of expenditure. That revenue can be recurrent, is a recurrent, and it can also be capital. That is Lagos State for you. Those are the examples I'm showing us. And recently, we have to work in line with international best practices. What do I mean by international best practices? As we look at a situation whereby Nigeria has one chart of accounts where subnationals, that is Lagos State and other states, will be using the same code, yes, for a particular economic line items. For example, travel and transport. If Lagos State is using 501, other subnationals too will be using 501. So because they are planning to have a general budget, that is, we can, from that national chart of accounts, we can consolidate and get the total amount spent on a particular line because they have a unique code, the same code throughout. That is the essence of national chart of account. Why this national chart of account? In the past, some people are using different codes in other states. If you come to Lagos, Lagos State will be telling you we are using 7 segments, 27 digits. Go to Anambra, they will be telling you that they are using only 2 segments. So that was what brought about consolidating everything. Let's work as a team. So they now came up with 52 digits, but 6 segments. We are still going to do that. That one is another topic on its own. So looking at that, we also look at our in-year reporting and financial statement. What is in-year reporting? But before then, let's go to the next in our cycle. If you look at this cycle, we have already dealt with budget preparation, budget execution, accounting and reporting. What is the meaning of accounting and reporting? Accounting and reporting is an aspect whereby we show the reports. We show the report of our stewardship to people. And that report must be comprehensive, relevant, timely, and reliable. So, example of those reports, you will see it, but it makes the government to be transparent and accountable by uploading the reports on the state website. Now, in the past, we don't upload our budget on our website, on the state website. But looking at this budget cycle and in line with international best practice, and if you look at the way we are doing things now, people are interested. So IMF, World Bank, they have their own standard. On quarterly basis, there is need for us to upload our budget at the end of each quarter. Before the end of that quarter, you must ensure that our budget is being uploaded. Our annual budget, which is even tagged to be eligibility criteria, because if you don't upload it, you are not going to be eligible to participate in most of programs like World Bank, Hope.gov, and other programs. Like there are so many things attached to it. It can be grants, and it's going to they target in such a way that if you are not eligible, other states that are not even performing are better than Lagos State, they will qualify. So if you look at that, that is the essence of accounting and reporting. We are giving account of our stewardship as well as reporting it. So those accounts, those reports must be comprehensive, must be relevant, and must be timely. So it makes our government to be transparent and accountable by uploading this report on our website. What is the reason? Policy makers use this data in fiscal reporting to make decisions. We also use it to monitor implementation. Citizens hold government accountable. Now, how many reports are we looking at? We are looking at budgetary reports. That is, we have already mentioned it. Why do we control budget? We monitor budgets through what? During the execution. So when during that period, we need to upload it. It's a report on its own. We have financial reporting. That is, in budgetary reporting, we have quarterly reports. It's not being done by only budget ministry. It's done by maybe in collaboration with STO and finance, DMO. We work as a team to ensure that our quarterly appraisal is uploaded as and when due. We also have financial reporting. What is the essence of this financial reporting? It aids decision-making and enforcement of accountability. The first one is being uploaded on quarterly basis. The financial reporting is at the end of the year. and financial statement report. That is what we are talking about. That is, at the end of every year, STO will now consolidate state reports and ensure that it's being looked at by Office of Auditor General. By then, they need to upload it. It aids decision-making and enforcement of accountability. If anybody wants to write anything about Lagos State, by the time they go to our website, the very first thing they look at is the financial reporting. But if they want to check on quarterly basis, they go to the same website to look for budgetary reporting. So we also have another form of report, statistical report. In IMF website, this statistical report is very, very important because it analyzes, it assesses the macro and micro economic indices to aid what? Just to assist us during the analysis for easy comparison. So if you look at this, budget is very, very key. Transparency and credibility. Yes. How do we see ourselves, whether we are transparent or not in the state? There is open and participatory budget. We always organize our stakeholders meeting. Then we track our budgets. We also prepare our budget, taking into consideration the gender. So this is what I discussed so far. Now, the last one is who and who perform oversight functions. We call that one audits. By the time the budget started, by the time we start from budget preparation, we start spending during budget execution, we upload our budget on websites. That is, we are giving account of our stewardship. We are uploading our reports. Now, all these things go to where? It's going to be audited by Office of External Audit, Auditor General Office. So what do we do there? We are having two So the two main institutions that actively review executive actions and public financial management, the two institutions are State Auditor General Office and Legislature. You can see there are two tiers of government playing major role when it comes to giving account of their stewardship. State Auditor General play major role by auditing what we have done during the budget execution. And audit cover budget preparation as well as execution and reporting. You can see what are the types of audits we are talking about. We are talking about performance audit, financial audit, and compliance audit. The legislature too, they will review and approve, ensure proper implementation, and hold executive accountable. Practical. We all see what we normally do. At the end of the year, they will just tell us that auditors are coming. Who are these auditors? People from State Auditor General's office. They are there to check the appropriation law is their own Bible. So they are there to look at how well you executed your budget, in line with financial regulations and other extant law. So applying performance audit, financial audit, and compliance audit, those are the things. By the time they finish their own, they submit it to Public Account Committee. The Public Account Committee too will review at the legislature level, we look at it. They will now call the attention if there is any issue. So at that point in time, you can see that it's a cycle. We now go back to where we start again. So this is the essence of this cycle. Now, fiscal framework, as we rightly discussed earlier, is the strategic planning in budget. Then after the planning, we move on to budget preparation. Then budget execution is by the time we start spending the money. Then at this level, that is when we give account of our stewardship and we upload our budget. Then at this level, State Auditor General is in control. They audit what we have already, our report here. So on that note, I would like to say thank you for paying attention and listening. I believe we will still have more time one day to dive more into this, because budget is more than this. So thank you, everyone. That is the end of my lecture. Any question?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for these very insightful explanations and conversation about budgeting and MTSS and COFOG. Yes, please, can you please throw your emojis? Yes, please make your comments on the comment section. And if you want to ask questions, feel free to raise your hands now to start asking the questions.
All right.
I can't see emojis. I can't see chat.
No, I can see emojis. I can see
Hello?
emojis. Hello?
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, so
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
thank you so much, Mr. Rojimi. Thank you so much for this knowledge that you have shared with us this evening. We appreciate you so much. We say thank you so much. We've learned a lot this evening. I've been refreshed. COVOG, classification and functions of government, MTSS, all these things we have been refreshed again. And then I want to appreciate all of us that are still on the call. Thank you so much. So, like Olaiton said, we are throwing our emojis, appreciating him for the knowledge that he has shared with us this evening. So, Mr. Reggie, we want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for sparing your time. Thank you for releasing this kind of knowledge for us to go back to our offices and begin to run with. We thank you so much, Mr. Orojimi. So you just stay tuned while the questions will be rolling it now. So we just ask one or two questions, then we...
Somebody is raising his hand. Idowu Babatunde.
Yeah, we have hands already.
Okay.
Should we go ahead?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Idowu, please kindly unmute yourself and ask your... You have been unmuted. Okay. I'm not sure he's still on the call. Mr. Idowu Babatunde, can you hear us? Please kindly unmute yourself and ask your question.
Let's
If
go to
you're
the
not
next
on
person.
the call, maybe I'll just unmute the next person. Okay, sir.
The next person.
Please kindly unmute yourself and ask your question.
Are you sure you've unmuted them? Mr. Logun.
Hello, sir.
Please go ahead, please.
Good evening, sir. My name is Logun Shakiruddin, Local Government Service Commission. Please, in the whole of the explanation, sir, I want to ask if the budget allows for or accommodates an unfortunate incident that is not captured in the original budget, such as, for instance, the COVID-19, that's the pandemic of COVID-19. So how does the budget accommodate that, even though it has not been budgeted for the year? Thank you, sir.
Can I answer that?
Yes, sir, you can.
Very well. There's always room for what we call contingency. But if the amount in contingency is not enough for such event, we have unforeseen circumstances whereby we have, may God forbid, a disaster may come up because of limited resources limited resources. So there's always a contingency which is factored there, but you can't just go as far as dipping hands into budget. That's why I say it's a legal framework. Once the budget has been signed by Mr. Governor or by the president, you can't just go as far as spending on that particular thing without recourse to House of Assembly. That's how to deal with that. Is that understood? So anything you want to do, we are working together. Mr. Governor will be aware of what is happening. The budget will be revised based on that, and we'll now just send it to them. They will look at it. They will look at what we are going to do. Also, in fact, that is the budget for you. You can't just say there is COVID-19 and you have authority over a state or national budget. If the contingency within your budget cannot contain the problem, the disaster or anything, or health problem or foreseen circumstances, definitely Mr. Governor will write to the House of Assembly. Based on that, the amount you want to expend on that will be discussed within short period, and the budget will be revised. That's it. Thank you, my dear brother.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, so there's a question on the chat box. We'll answer that question before we take another hand. The question is, please, sir, how can you assist the admin and HR officers to have deeper understanding of budget, sir, of budgeting?
Thank you. We are bound to learn, unlearn, and relearn. This little idea, this little thing we did here, you have learned something. But if you want us to break it down, fine. Maybe we have another section some other time whereby we will look at it from the level you want it to be. That is, you want me to explain everything for you. We come down to your level. That's one thing. But what we have discussed so far is easy. It's very easy. That's why I went as far as explaining to you what budget it is. What budget is. Then the calculation. After calculation, I put cycle there for you to understand that budget start from strategic planning down to preparation, down to execution, down to accounting and reporting and control. Once you can draw this cycle, I believe you won't have any issue understanding this budget, except I don't know, maybe you want to go and sit for exam, or you want just for you to learn. It depends. So this cycle itself is okay. What you need to do is just to link them up. go back to what fiscal framework is all about, go to where we are having budget preparation, just link them to just say, I mean, we understand it better. But if you want to see me, definitely I'm available. If you want to, or you can just send message to me by asking more questions. I'm available. I will answer you. We are all colleagues. We are there to assist one another. Thank you all.
Thank you
Any
very
other
much.
question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for that beautiful opportunity to be able to reach out to you. I'll also advise that we all go back to the to this session and also listen to it over and over again so that we can understand it better. So another question here is kindly explain the difference between program and project-based budget.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
This has been on for many years. When you say program based, you see, program based is what we are operating in Lagos State, PBB budgets. Yes. From your mandate as a ministry or department or agency, you have a mandate. That mandate can be divided into 3 or 4 programs. Are you getting me? Is what you are presently using in Lagos State. Go back to the drawing board, check the mandate of your ministry, break the mandate into 3 or 4. In that particular mandate, it can be only 2 or 3 programs that is working for your ministry. You understand? That is the answers. And within that program, your budget will be splitted into recurrent and capital. That is program-based budget for you. Example, let's go to environment. Environment has 2 or 3 different types of program. They can say, okay, they have water sanitation and environmental protection as 2 programs they have. And those 2 programs can be splitted into series of activities. Different departments will come together to work on water sanitation. 2 or 3 departments will come together to work on what? Environmental protection. So those are the things we call programs. In project, we call it project-based budget. That one is specific on a particular project. This government comes, it just want to work on projects, continuous projects. Though taking into consideration other factors, but the budget is basically on projects. It's different from on program. So that is the 2 different things. The differences is just what you yourself know. When you say program, your program can be divided into recurrent and capital. But the focus of government and your mandate is what we call program, to enable us track and ensure that everything aligns to the strategic program of the government, like Team's agenda. That is why we are having it. We call our budget PBB, program-based budget in the state. Thank you. Any other question?
Okay, so we'll now take those who were raising up their hands. Please, user, I don't know, there's a name here, user. I'm going to unmute you, but please introduce yourself because we don't have your name. Kindly unmute yourself to ask your question.
Okay, good evening, sirs and ma'ams. My name is Engineer Olaniyan Abiodun Sheriff, Lagos State Ministry of Environment and Water Resources,
That
and
is
the
you,
Office
sir.
of Public Services and Water Resources. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes,
Very
we
well,
can hear you,
very
sir.
well, very well.
All right. Now, based on all the explanation I gathered so far, I learned this evening that budgetary provision is usually for a specific period of time. So, sir, can you please shed light on supplementary budget? At what point can this one come in? Because it has become usual for those of us that we come from executive ministries. We do hear supplementary budgets and all of that. So, at what point this one will come in, and how does it actually affect the budget cycle? Thank you very much.
Thank you, my dear brother. We have different types of different ways of revising our budget. We have reordering, that is moving funds around to ensure that governments allocate money to where the money is needed at that point in time, number one. Number two, supplementary. Supplementary is when we have enough fund coming from somewhere, which is not part of the budget we prepared earlier. The fund can be in trillions, it can be in billions, because we want to use it to execute some project, a big project. It's called for revision, budget call for revision. Number one, I've answered that. When governments get more funds to ensure that they want to implement using that fund, and that fund can come from anywhere. Maybe all the major revenue generating agency, they have more money in circulation. Once they can do that, governor can say, okay, you have more money, definitely our budget is rich or has more resources to be used in implementing a particular project. That is supplementary for you. But a situation whereby maybe in September, that is third quarter, we realize that many people, they don't care. Maybe they don't care, or we discover that they didn't spend their money. They have low performance. The performance is not encouraging. So governor can say, okay, let's reorder those people, because one way or the other, by the time the fiscal year is about, the year is about to end. So let's reallocate that fund to where we needed the money. So you can see the two. One is supplementary, the other one is moving the fund from non-performing ministry or department or agency to where government needs the money just to fund that project. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Any
much,
other
sir.
question?
Yes, we still have more hands raised up. Mrs. Kemi Abdullahi, please, can you unmute yourself to ask your question?
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
My name is Kemi from General Hospital Ikorodu. Thank you, my director, for the insightful presentation, sir. We appreciate you. So my own question is not really a question. I just need a clarification on a budget cycle and a budget process, because having gone through the both, I discovered that budget process and a budget cycle, they have similar components. So I want to know if they are the same thing. Then my second question is, what is budget analysis as related to Lagos State government, sir? Thank you.
Okay. See, we need to understand the difference. We have budget cycle. We have, I will show you the two. I intentionally put the two there. So looking at this look like what? This is just more or less like the process.
Process, yes.
Yes, looking at this.
Yes, sir.
It's a process
Yes,
because it's also, if you look at it at this level, we have review of stakeholder consultation, MTBF, infrastructural, issuance of circular. But at this level, you have issuance of general warrants, budget implementation. It's better you understand the process and what we call the cycle. Before I started this evening, I said something about nomenclature and description. Somebody will tell you budget cycle. Another person will say what? Budgeting. Abi? So somebody will now call it budget process. It depends on how you want to view it. They all mean the same thing.
Okay, sir.
If you want to, unless you want to now restrict your own budget cycle within the budget preparation, yes.
Okay.
Yes, because everything means the same. Everything means the same in the sense that when somebody say budget cycle, no need of cramming anything. Budget cycle is the same thing. It is going to start from planning, strategic planning, down to audit. Budgeting itself, budgeting, underline, means the same cycle. Budget process means the same cycle. But one thing that will be missing, if you don't put the legal framework there, is not yet budget. Budget is a legal framework, yes. So please don't confuse yourself. Budget cycle, budgeting, and budget process, they mean the same. Any other question? You said something about something.
I said, what is budget analysis as related to Lagos State government?
Analysis. When you say analysis,
budget analysis.
It is when you, by the time we finish our budget, the budget has been approved and assented to by the governor. The only thing is for you to just show the people, or you yourself, you let people, you let them understand the revenue, you break it down. That is what we call budget analysis. You break it down into a simpler form whereby other people will understand that this is the revenue, this is the expenditure, these are the major projects they want to expend on. That's it. That is the analysis. And those projects can be splitted. They can be splitted in such a way that we understand that general public service, this is what they want to carry out. Environment, this is the project they want to do. That is analysis. It's just a simple term.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, budget, we just say this is the revenue, this is the amount they want to expend. In fact, we have it on our website. Go to our website, you will see citizens' budget. We have already demystified it in such a way that once you pick it, go to the website, click it, print it out. That is budget analysis for you. We call it citizens' budget. But if you want to know more, go to the same website, download the budget itself, the appropriation law is going to guide us. Thank you. Any other
questions? You, sir. Thank you, my director, sir.
Yes, sir. Mr. Olarewaju Akonji, please can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yeah, good evening, ma, and everybody. And I really appreciate the. My name is Olarewaju Akonji from Office of Drainage Services. Really appreciate the facilitator, director. We really appreciate you, sir. My question goes thus: that is there any on the issue of environment, sir, is there any way, or I want you to shed more light on it, sir, that is the environment they were talking about can be taken from the department to department or from a ministry to another ministry. So I want to get more light on that. Then, regards to the budget appropriations, sir, as in the appropriation, as in the how do I put it? I want to get more information regards to that. I'm an engineer, so that's why I just want to get more idea on that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my brother. When you say appropriation, there are two appropriations we are talking about. When after the whole process has been done, we have already consolidated the budget, and the budget is taken to State Treasury Board for their own consideration and approval. What is this State Treasury Board we are talking about? Governor share the board. Major revenue generating agencies, they are part of the board. So they are going to look at the budget, and after that, they now approve it for consideration and approval of ESCO. By the time executive now jointly approve the budget will now has become what we call bill. At that level, we call it appropriation bill. That is what governor is taking to House of Assembly, to legislature. Are you getting it? By the time legislature call people just to ensure that what executive sent to them is correct or not, just for them to, for clarification. So by the time you see people going to House of Assembly, it's just to clarify, it's just to engage them to know more about what and what needed to be done. So by the time they finish that, they now approve it on at their own level, maybe on the floor. They will table it, they agree, they now approve it. After approval, that is not the final approval. At that point, it's still appropriation bill. So by the time they now send it to governor will now assent to it. What's the assent? Sign that I have approved this bill. By the time governor signed it, it shows that the budget has been passed to law. That is what we call law. Your second question is based on, you said something, I don't really remember. Environment. Yes, fine. Sir. When you say environment, it's illegal. That's why you say budget is a framework. It's a legal framework. It's illegal. It's illegal in the sense that illegal, in the sense that you cannot move funds. Even let's start from, you have already budgeted to buy 6 vehicles for your department or for your ministry. Yes, sir. And later you want to now move that fund again to build house. You wanted to use that money to purchase vehicle, and you want to use it to build house. That's number one. Number two, that is your ministry. Now, your ministry is looking for money. You cannot take what belongs to your ministry to another ministry. That is environment. It's not advisable. It's not appropriate. It's not legal. Is that clear? So yes, is not, you can see some people maybe saying, let's do this, let's do that. But it's not right.
Okay, sir.
It's not right. Environment is moving fund. By the time your budget the budget is being signed into law, you cannot be playing with it. You cannot be playing with it. You cannot move what belongs to environment, the fund of environment, to go and build house. Let's start from your end for drainage.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's environment. It's not advisable. They will take you up when you get to, in fact, when you get to our office, we are going to tell you that this is not right.
Okay.
That is why we are having code in our system. The code that belongs to environment is different from the code that belongs to drainage. So why do you want to now use code that doesn't belong to you to fund the project of others? Even environment, again, if you want to do that, if you want to use another agency's code, you need to go as far as taking the budget to governor. Governor will sign and send it to House of Assembly. House of Assembly will now approve it again. That is, your budget has been amended to enable you carry out what? That particular project or program. Is that understood now?
All right, I'm sorry, Jimmy. Can I just make a clarification? Do we still practice environment again in the service?
That is, you see, there is nothing like environment.
Right. All right.
There is nothing like environment. Let me tell you, instead of you saying there is environment, you need to route this thing through the governor, then go to House of Assembly. If you know that some people have money and I have to carry out this project, you are there to convince governor, maybe as the honorable commissioner of that particular agency. Governor will say, okay, write it. Let me write the honorable speaker. So you can see that one is not environment. That is proper process, proper procedure. Is that understood?
Okay.
But if you just do it without proper way, that one is liable to many years imprisonment because they will quote the law that you have already misappropriated fund. So environment is not allowed, sir. Any other question?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Our time is fast spent, but I'd really like that you address 2 or 3 questions, but I'll just read everything so
No
that
problem.
you can answer them together. So the first question here is okay, so someone wants you to please move your slide to budget cycle, which is currently on. I'm sure the person can see it. Okay, so the second question is, please, sir, highlight on the differences between budget review, reordering, and supplementary budget.
I've already said that earlier.
Already spoken about that. Okay.
Yes. I could remember somebody asked such question. I said, budget can be reviewed, budget can be supplemented, then budget can be reordered. It depends on what the environment, or it depends on economic situation at that point in time.
Okay.
Now, when you talk of supplementary, I said government is expecting revenue from a particular source. The revenue can come from MDAs, it can come from development partners, donor agencies or international financial institutions. Government may be expecting 1 trillion or 100 billion or 500 billion. So at that point in time, you cannot touch budget because it's a legal framework. You need to go back to House of Assembly, and we call it supplementary budget. You defend it. They look at it. They look at the project you want to implement using that fund. We call that one supplementary. And based on reordering, non-performing agency towards the 3rd quarter, they will identify them because government want to fund some projects, and we are heading towards the end of the year. They look at those people that are not performing, they are not even using fund allocated to them at that period, 3rd quarter. So that was what gave room for reordering. So you can see the difference now. Review review as in when we look at the whole situation, review and reorder, they are just like the same. So we can review based on the fact that we want to make adjustment to our revenue, because some people are saying they can generate more revenue. Some people are saying it's not realistic. So you review it. You look at all angles whereby you want to touch. So that is that. I've answered that one earlier. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. So I think that's all the question, but one last, and then after that we call it a day. Mr. Adeosho Akim, kindly please unmute yourself and ask your questions. Tomorrow is Monday, so we'd like to release our D budget. Hello, can you unmute yourself and ask your question? I'm not sure he's on the call.
Mr.
He was the first person you called today, and the guy
good
is
afternoon,
not...
sir. Can you hear me loud now, sir?
All right.
Oh, yes. Yes, we can.
Yes.
I just want to thank you for your lecture, sir. I just want to know what is the role of the Treasury single account in budget control.
Thank you, my brother. When you say Treasury single account, it means we have to mop all the accounts into one single account. Then, if you want to withdraw, by the end of a particular day, any amount remained there, by the time you have already expended some, will be swept back to either commercial or CBN. That is how Treasury single accounts work. But due to exigencies of, I know where you are going, of some agencies of government in Lagos State, we try to retain, we have to remove some hospitals and other important MDAs and ensure that they retain most of their revenue. They are not going to be part of those we classify to be under Treasury single account. So during that period, Treasury single account is good. In fact, if you just go to this IMF Public Financial Management, Nigeria happens to be a case study there when we have Kemi Adeosun as our minister. They look at it critically, they use it as a case studies, because as at that point in time, when Treasury single account was introduced, different accounts were flying. But this time around, Lagos State government is controlling that through STO, because there are a series of law. Not that we are not applying Treasury single account, but at the same time, we are doing it in such a way that it's not going to affect some key agencies like hospitals and other health-related institutions. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I don't know. There's still like two more questions. Would you like to take it, or they should just reach out to you?
Let me take it. Let me take the two and let's call it a day.
All right,
Let me
sir.
take
Okay,
the two.
sir. Okay. So, sir, can you address the issue of using funds meant for a particular purpose for another within MDAs? The second question is in a professional. Oh, okay, we've answered that. Okay, so the second question is in a professional MDA like health and environment, has the programs tied to their mandate, and in which those programs forms basis of allotting envelopes to MDA? How should the MDA best address the budgets for other support department units and departments, such as A&HR and financial account audits? Did you get that, sir?
No. The person too. I don't think the person that wrote the question really understand that point.
Understands the question.
Maybe
Okay,
the
so
person,
so they will most
you
likely
see,
reach out to you.
you
sir.
are having two agencies together. They allocated fund for the two agencies, like health and environment, at the same time. No, except if you have a particular programs that make all of them to come and work together, and there is need for us to separate. That's why we are having, we always plan before we take budget to STB. We need to separate what belongs to health. We allocate it to health. What belongs to environment, we allocate it. It may be the same program. So
maybe
then we cannot use. Hello,
Mr. Ojimi, maybe the person is trying to say maybe at the COFOC level, that
don't let us assume.
maybe at the COFOC.
Don't let us assume. The person can ask the question. The floor is open. If the person is there, can ask a question, then I'm going to answer the question.
For more clarity.
Any other question?
There's no other question. So I'll just leave the floor for Doctor. Doctor, please, can you go ahead?
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Ojimi. We appreciate you so much. But I can see is Kemi actually asking, wanting to ask question or forgot?
Oh, our question was answered. She asked the question already.
Okay, so let's lower the hand.
Okay.
Adebola Akinloye.
I'm not sure. This person is new. I'm not sure. We've answered the question, but I don't know. Can we still take it?
Let's try. Adebola, please, can you lower? Can you just unmute yourself quickly? She's not there. She's no longer there. Okay, so we want to say thank you, Mr. Orojimi, for this time that you have spent with us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you for sparing this time with us this evening. Thank you. We appreciate you. So we want to do the needful. Our norms here is to unmute ourselves and we will sing and appreciate you, sir. We want to sing and appreciate you. So I've unmuted everybody. Can you please unmute yourself? Let's sing for Mr. Oroji.